Hi there, guys, and welcome to the Chronicles of Gamers, episode 54. This is a podcast where we love to express our love-hate relationship with video games. I'm, of course, your host, Efocutioner, and unfortunately, it's a me episode again, so it's all good. It's all great. It's all gravy. It's all happy. Just me. Nothing wrong with that. Lord Brioche is actually on a musical journey, so she's going out to figure out some sounds and be able to create some beautiful music. So that's why Lord Brioche isn't on. And Gamer Composer just came back from his little journey of getting creativity into his musical work, and he is now in the lab. He's working on a few other projects. So it's kind of interesting that Lord Brioche is now going on her journey, and Gamer Composer just came back from his. So, but that's what you got to do to be a composer, man. You got to find inspiration somewhere, and there is some inspirations that we will be talking about in today's topics. But there are also some things that I really want to get off my chest because, damn, man, what a weird 2 weeks of gaming. And the shit's still getting started. But we're going to kick things off straight into It's All About the Hype. This is where we like to talk about any industry news, any video game news that, you're super excited for because it's all about the hype. Hype. And I'm going to go into a topic that I really want to discuss when that shit happened literally 2 weeks ago. After I just got done recording with Lord Brioche, episode motherfucking 53. Like, literally on that night, shit went down. No, it was Sunday night. So I was editing episode 53 on Sunday night, and shit went down, and I really wanted to post the fucking video, but I was like, I want to see how this plays off. And that's the motherfucking PewDiePie situation. Yes, I know everyone's been talking about it for 2 weeks, but I don't give a fuck, man. I'm going to keep talking about that shit until that man is off of YouTube, or he is no longer being portrayed as the motherfucking face of gaming. So I don't like that. I never liked that. I don't know who said he was, but at this point, he is, because he's got the most people on YouTube, and it seems like no matter what fucking shit he does, he seems to get away with it. So for those that don't know, and I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be that many of you, but yeah, man, he said the N-word on stream. At this point, I'm just going to say, watch the clip. If you've already seen the clip, you can just fast forward. It shouldn't even be that long. Watch the clip, listen to the clip, my audio people. We're gonna do it now.
Insane. I was holding it so fucking straight.
What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god, what the fuck? Sorry, but what the fuck? What a fucking asshole. Sometimes I forget that I'm live streaming.
Yeah, I don't know what you have a strange filter, and I feel like it must be because you're a foreign.
I guess so.
So your brain goes through 2 checkpoints before
Let's blame it on that.
That's the only thing I can think of. Is the way that you approach your weird filters in your head.
Listen, he did a dick move. I try to think of the worst word. I kept saying nigger. I'm in Tana Mongu now. We're in the same team. Good old. It feels right.
I want the same boat as Tana Mongo.
And that other beauty blogger, whatever her name is.
No, she didn't hard R.
I just hope I don't lose my sponsorship deals,
Oh no, whatever will you do? What if you lose your fucking Disney contract? This is kind of what I've been saying to Emma. She's like, man, you got to be careful what you say online and stuff. And I'm like, well, what have I got to lose? You know?
I got nothing to lose,
What's the
nothing to
worst
prove.
that can happen at this point?
At this point,
You must be in pretty much the same boat. Even if they
I'm
kick
more
up the shit
offended
still.
by that.
You just
The
get
thing
one
is,
cool video out
I
of
know
it.
that no one that's watching this stream gives a shit. Like, you know
No
that.
one gives a shit,
No.
full stop. That's the truth of it. No one gives a shit, full stop. People just like to pretend they give a shit because they like to feel like they have some purpose in life. People need to not face the harsh reality that one day we're going to die and everything that we've said is irrelevant. So they overcompensate by being like, oh my god! I am alive! And I'm reacting!
Perfect parking there.
That's my theory anyway.
There's people in this house.
Alright, welcome back, man. So there's a lot of things I wanted to say, because I have been discussing this shit on the Kind of Funny page, Reddit, Jimquisition. I really am like dumbfounded at how people have like defended this guy off of saying the word. I'm gonna. The most obvious is that everyone says is, you know, the heat of the game moment. Polygon's basically made like fucking discussion out of that, talking about there's no heat of the game moment. Watching the video, of course, or listening to the audio, you pretty much heard it there, even when his friend was talking shit. The whole point was, there's nothing wrong with being caught up to the point where you get frustrated, and during your frustration, you want to say something that represents that frustration. That's pretty much what PewDiePie motherfucking did. Like, you hear me being frustrated, still talking about that shit? Motherfucker is my representation of being frustrated on the topic of discussing PewDiePie. So there we go. So this man, and he literally says that he wanted to think of the worst word that he can. Ta-da. I don't understand where the argument is. It's just like, oh, well, you know, we all been in the heated moment. We all said the words that we didn't mean. Bro, he said the N-word. Ladies and gentlemen, he said the N-word. The worst word he can think of was the N-word. The worst word he can think of was the N-word. Do I need to say one more time? He wanted to use something he was really frustrated on. N-word. That's the connection. The fact that he chose that word for that connection. I just want to say that one more time. I know that's, you know, I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but it's like, I just want y'all to see that connection, because it seems like a lot of people, it went over the head. You see, even my phone. I'm discussing about something else on it, but, yeah, it's just really hard for people not to understand that. And then the second of all, it goes into what was the next thing I actually had to discuss for the last almost 2 fucking weeks. Well, what's the big deal that he said it? You let other people say it. What about that H3 guy? First of all, this is the first, so I just found out about this dude named H3. I have no idea who the fuck he was until this crap went down. I had no idea who this man was. I had no idea I have no idea. Okay? But apparently him and Pewdie are like, you know, the coalition of dumb motherfuckers that want to say stupid, ignorant shit. So, you know, shout out to that coalition that seems to be going strong. Apparently he's been saying it quite a bit, and he mostly says it in jokes. And then I had to go into the fucking discussion and what the hell a joke entails. So one more time, folks. For people who don't watch that many comedy shows, I would suggest you watching Raw. At this point, watch any Chris Rock special. If you got Netflix, Kevin Hart just did a motherfucking special. I just want you guys to know that when you do comedy, the whole point of comedy is to relate or educate. It's a very simple rhyme. Relate or educate. When you tell a joke, you want to tell a joke that relates to people. The reason why Kevin Hart is so big is because he has jokes that people can relate to. Not just black people, but white people, Puerto Rican people, Asian people. Anyone can relate to. He has jokes that people can relate to. Sometimes his jokes more relate to us. But it's not too far that another person can't relate to. Like, I think the latest special Kevin Hart did on his, on Netflix there was a joke where, he said, it's hard to convince black women, on things that kind of sound like it wouldn't make sense. So he kind of made like, really type joke when black people, when a black woman hears you talk about something that they have a hard time wrapping their head around. So then they go into this really thing. Now that doesn't mean that, black women don't understand everything, but he was just making a joke on like maybe 2 or 3 small references. And then pretty much he just kept bringing that joke up. Not demeaning black women, just saying that that's most of the time that really goes into what their answer is. But the whole point is it's something that most people can relate to, or pretty much everyone there can relate to, because you might have that one time in the office. Hell, even I've done it, like, really, where I'd be like, really? It's just, but the whole point is relate, educate. So that was a relate joke. Most people can relate to it. Pretty much everyone there related to it, because it at least happened one point in their life, maybe at work, anywhere else, but that's the whole point. Really. Educate. When you do, so when Chris Rock, pretty much had a special where he was saying like how it's really hard for, white people to not understand why you can't say the N-word. And he goes and he tells a joke explaining why it's so hard for them to understand that, even though it's a very, obvious understanding. But he made it just look it up. But pretty much in the joke, he goes into detail why you shouldn't say the word and why we say the word. That was an educational term. So you see, he used comedy to help inform people. Louis C.K. does this quite a bit too. Or most of the time when he talks about his family members and he talks about what's going on with his kids. That's something we all can relate to because we've all been dumbass kids. So that's the whole point I've been trying to explain about comedy, and it just seems to go over people's fucking heads like it's crazy. I'm sorry. This is just really frustrating to me. Been battling this shit all day. I really don't understand how hard it is for people to not understand why we should not say this word. But the most recent complaint I've gotten now is because, both of those are kind of like dumbass offenses. What was number 3 was, he lives in, at this point, I don't even give a fuck where he lives, but he doesn't live in the U.S. And he said, like, he doesn't know the meaning of that word. And I'm like, you can't use ignorance as your defense either, man. He knew the word was wrong because he apologized a few seconds after. And then he knew that he did something wrong. So you can't feign ignorance on that shit. That's the dumbest fucking defense ever. Oh, I said the N-word. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Shit. People are going to take it out of context. Shit. You fucked up. You can't use that. If you knew you didn't do anything wrong, then you wouldn't apologize for it. Very simple. And then number 4 that I've gotten, and this is like really the most recent besides the, oh, he lives in another country and shit, is the motherfucking defense of, what the fuck was it, man? I got like so many fucking excuses that I've written down. Hold on. Number 4 was, it's in fucking gaming culture. Everyone does it, so what's the big deal? So I portrayed this message as, because most people say like, well, if we could just all say the N-word, then it will lose its effect and its meaning, and then none of this will be such a big deal. And then I go back to this. So number 4 is the case for that argument. If everyone could say the N-word, that is the problem with everyone saying the N-word, because everyone would use the N-word as a negative way. No one uses the N-word in a positive way in gaming. No one. And that's the most fucked up part. If you can think of a time where someone called you the N-word in a positive way, please let me know. You can message me at the Chronicles of Gamers podcast at gmail.com. But I'll let you know right now. I've never been called I mean, I've been called the N-word, but it's never been in a positive way. And this is where the wonderful world of online gaming, where you can talk on, with other people with no repercussions, and anyone can say whatever the fuck they want to say, and they say the N-word in the most negative, stereotypical, disrespectful way. Pretty much what PewDiePie did. That's what happens when you give everyone free space to say the word. So no, I guess it does not work, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. But at this point, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say it right now. PewDiePie's racist. This H3 guy is racist as fuck. And pretty much, if you know any other person that's doing it on YouTube and you're not putting them on blast and letting us know, then you're part of the fucking problem. Especially if you're black and you're watching these people and you're letting them say the N-word. Oh, well, I mean, it's not that big deal to me, man. I mean, it's just a word to me. You know, it's like, bro, I don't care if it's just a word to you. If they're not going to respect us, why support them? If they don't respect you, why respect them? Like, fuck. We'll say it one more time for those. Everyone loves black people. Everyone in this fucking country loves black people. They love us. They love our culture. They love the fucking things we say. They love the fucking things we create. And they especially love our motherfucking money. But they don't respect us. Especially out in other countries. Not that many countries respect us. Hell, even most black people in Africa have the problem. Hell, most parts of Africa barely respect black people. So at this point, if you're going to support someone that doesn't fucking respect you, then you don't really have anything to say, man. I'm done. Fuck PewDiePie. He's racist as hell. He's racist as hell. He's an entitled racist. Because I know gamers get pissed off on that shit. Guess what? You're an entitled racist. And if that word offends you, well then, good. Asshole. Anyways, next topic. We're going to go straight into NBA 2K18 and its motherfucking microtransactions. Now, this shit just happened this week. Oh my gosh. I haven't even asked my friends if they have been going through this 2K18 problem. I think I saw one of them playing online just this morning. Whew. So, NBA, EA, just, straight up gave no fucks. And they put this thing called virtual currency in. And my gosh, it really prevents you from being able to customize your, custom character, be able to level up certain shit. It's just, this is literally behind a pay to play wall. Like, when we all talk about microtransactions, or at least you notice when we started talking about more about microtransactions, and there's other people talking about microtransactions and loot boxes, and how a lot of these games are hiding their shit behind a pay to play wall. Ta-da! EA! Oh, by the way, I'm wearing a Rick and Morty shirt. For those that have watched Batman and Robin, they used to air that on TBS and shit. If that's my audio people, watch the video if you want to see the t-shirt. But anyways, but this is it. Ta-da! EA really just hid their shit behind a pay-to-play wall, and it really makes it hard to be able to customize, level up, adjust your characters and shit. And pretty much EA gave no fucks calling it virtual currency, to the point that one reviewer from 6-Axis decided to basically talk about how much he hated the whole microtransaction shit in the game. And he gave NBA 2K18 a 3 out of 10. A 3 out of 10, folks. 6-Axis. It's in the show notes. The actual review has been taken down. I should have screen captured it, but I put Jim Sterling's review about it, and I also put, if I am correct, I also put Sid Alpha's stuff, but I also put the NeoGAF thread, which continues to get updated through the wonderful story. And in fact, EA got so, I guess, not pissed off, but EA was, kind of concerned. Maybe, 6-Axis reviewer kind of made a mistake with a 3 out of 10, that they decided to contact them and be like, hey, so, maybe you might want to reconsider the score. And, it wasn't that bad of a thing. It was like, maybe you could reconsider the 3 out of 10 and, maybe, it wasn't that big a deal. But the guy who did the review kind of said he was really protesting the whole microtransactions shit. And he said that the microtransactions kind of ruined the game for him. And he just had a really hard time just trying to give it a decent score. But, EA, 2K, let me rephrase this. 2K, I'm not EA. I just like saying EA. But 2K pretty much reached out and said, like, maybe you might want to double check. Maybe you might have made a mistake in a nice, gentle way. It wasn't really putting pressure on him, but I kind of feel like it was, because who the fuck, like, what type of person just reaches out to the reviewer? Like, at this point, you gave them the game to review, and he gave his honest review about the game. Granted, was it a little biased towards microtransactions? Yeah, but I mean, was your shit kind of hidden behind a pay-to-play wall? I mean, I feel like it kind of was. But at this point, there's been a recent review. They said that they adjusted the review. He changed some aspects about it, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he can change the review score. But the guy, Aran, did change the review. Like, he changed certain things he wrote about the game because of the microtransactions, so he kind of changed that up a bit. But unfortunately, the 3 out of 10 kind of remains. I'm not sure if that changed at all, but if you look at the NeoGAF, he kind of talks about how, he might have been a little bit upset. So, but at this point, you can check it out. But it's kind of interesting. If you're not really into EA's, or if you're not into basketball at all, you probably wouldn't know about this, but this is a really big, huge paywall for the game. Hopefully 2K will change that in a later update, but at this point I don't think they will. I think EA did kind of pressure them, even though they said that they weren't pressured. I feel like they kind of were, because Six Axis was kind of worried about being blacklisted, and if you haven't heard about being blacklisted, that's pretty much where it's hard for you to get a free copy of the game, and instead you have to purchase the game. And of course, they also cuts into your revenue as well, because most people might care about 2K18, and most people might come to this guy for sport game reviews, and it's kind of hard to review a sports game a few weeks early and be able to post it on your site if you're blacklisted. So at this point, I feel like he's pressured. Me, Efocutioner, feel like he was pressured. But at this point, since he said he wasn't, I'll just take his word for it, and I'll leave it at that. But if you want to learn more about the wonderful NBA 2K18 virtual currency, ladies and gentlemen, they ain't even virtual currency. Next topic, Battlegrounds. By the way, I had more topics, but I'm keeping it very short. So, I mean, I'll give quick shout outs. SNES is going to be, have enough for everybody from what Nintendo has promised. And they're bringing back the NES Classic. So, later in 2018 towards the summertime. So that's good. You don't need to, pay $300 for NES Classic, or pay $300 for an SNES if you don't get it. And I was going to talk about, how people kind of do fetishize, or at least do, portray a negative resentment towards people who can barely play video games. But although I feel like it's kind of hard to suck at video games, but I was going to talk about that, but I took that out because I really want to talk about Battlegrounds. Oh man. So I haven't really played PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, but I found like this was interesting because the creators at Bluehole are really upset that Fortines Battle Royale mode, which is coming out sometime 2018. Sorry, that was the phone. Man, everyone's blowing me up as soon as I want to record, right? But yeah, so the developers were pretty much upset, saying that they were pretty much saying that they're copying off of them. But let's be honest, I don't want to call it copying. Let's just say that they were inspired. Fortunes was inspired by PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. If you don't know about Fortunes, it's pretty much nearly the same as the other game, but it's kind of mixed with the Minecraft elements of being able to customize and build certain, build things in the game. So like you can build a house, you can build traps that you can literally trap people in, or, you can pretty much just shoot people. Now, I'm not too sure how the game works. Will it be the same as PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, where the location gets smaller and smaller to the point where you have no choice but to fight in the open field? Who knows? But at this point, Bluehorn's a little upset that Epic Games is letting them do this, because supposedly they were in Fortune's video, they mentioned PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and then they also mentioned H1Z1, where the creator was also a part of as well. So it's pretty interesting, man. It's pretty funny. Both games look pretty similar. It's just really the the small developments and stuff like that, where it's just like you can be able to customize, like you can build like a house or traps and stuff, and the Fortune's Battle Royale. But it's interesting that Bluehorn's creator is basically making the complaint, saying that he feels like he has ownership, and that they're just basically ripping off, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And I found that funny. In the show notes, I don't want to go full detail into it. But in the show notes, he pretty much talks about how it's just, he feels like he has complete ownership over the game. Like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is making the millions. I really don't know the numbers. There are microtransactions that's also in that game, but it's free to play. So I feel like that's a decent trade-off. But yeah, really funny because he's really trying to take ownership over PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, basically saying like he created this thing, it's all his, no one else ever came up with that idea, and that is not true. I just found out about this game called Arma. I had no idea what that was about. That's pretty much the same thing. H1Z1, which I never played. H1Z1's King of the Hill, which was also the same as PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Supposedly there have been earlier developments of this game, but most importantly, did we all forget about the movie Battle Royale? So I remember a while back, someone had made a video where, when Daredevil first came out, that they took certain scenes from, Battle Royale, and there was another, Old Boy, I think it was called, where they were talking about the fight sequences of like where they got the scenes from. But pretty much, Battle Royale was this, movie that was made back in 2001, I believe, where it is in Japan. There's, overpopulation of the kids and stuff. So what they do is they take the really rotten kids and they put collars on their neck and they send them to this island where they would literally fight to the death, and only one would make it out alive. But there was a time limit where if you don't kill everyone within a certain amount of time, everyone dies on the island. It's actually a really, really good movie. Do not watch the sequel. The sequel is not as good as the original, but it's kind of okay. It's more like a revolutionary thing. But man, just watching that movie was amazing. Because I don't want to go into the movie, but yeah, so it's really based off the movie. And then, of course, from that movie, supposedly Hunger Games was, inspired by, Battle Royale as well. So like I said, I just find it really funny that, Bluehorn's kind of, putting out this, I came up with this thing. No one else did. It's mine. I don't like the fact that Fortune is pretty much copying off of us, even though Fortune pretty much said like we were inspired by H1Z1 and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I just find it funny. Everyone's being inspired. I love telling this to Gamer Composer, but I'm not a thief if we both steal from the same person. So at this point, if you're gonna, claim this as your own and you're making a big deal out of this, you were inspired by something else. So at this point, I don't see Fortune being a thief, because if they're a thief, then you're a thief too. So let's just be honest about it. Good, competition helps. So maybe you can better up your game. Or maybe it gives you an incentive to put this on console faster. Who knows? But I just wanted to talk about that. I found that funny. I found it hilarious. Inspiration. That's what happens when you're inspired by another game. And last but not least, from the wonderful inspiration talks, I want to talk about the Sonic 2 HD fan-made game that was recently created. This is, me, a Sonic boy. I still need to play Sonic Mania. Really upset about that. But a group of Sonic fans decided to do an HD remake of Sonic 2. The demo is out now. You should see the trailer at the bottom. For those that are watching or listening to the audio, I really wish you were watching the video, but you can check the show notes. I highly recommend that you check this thing out. It's really amazing. It really looks like a great demo. I cannot wait to try it. I'm really upset that I cannot find my controller still. Oh gosh, man. But I don't want to tear this place apart looking for it before I move back, so. But I'm actually willing to try Sonic 2 on the computer, so I'm going to use my keyboard and mouse. Unfortunately for me, I don't have Lord Brioche's little ball. Highly recommend you watch episode 53. Lord Brioche has a very, very shocking mouse that she uses. Trackball mouse. But yeah, that's pretty much it for It's All About the Hype. Trackball mouse. Oh man, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds being fucking pissed that someone else copied their shit. That's like the fucking guy who created Tetris being upset that other people created Tetris clones. Yo man, that's like The Simpsons getting mad at Family Guy for copying their shit, or South Park. It's like the Honeymooners being mad about the Flintstones, and the Flintstones being mad about the Jetsons, and then the Jetsons being mad at the Simpsons. Alright, well anyways, we're gonna take a small break, and when we return, we're gonna, get into the next topic. So, stay tuned. Hey there guys, welcome back. And now, after that, we're gonna go straight into Sound Test! This is where I like to talk about any video game scores or music that I'm just like, really digging at you, digging at me. Let me stop saying TLC. Sound check, sound test, mic check, 1 2 1 2. How did I say sound check? Sound test, sound test. Sound test. Anyways though, my first song, and I have two that I've been really digging, is from Tales of Legendia. I don't know if I'm saying this right. I haven't played the game, but someone recommended I listen to their OST, and there was this track that I was really digging. I mean, it's kind of sad, but it's kind of nice to listen to too. It's called Funeral March. It's really, really good to listen to. I'm like really horrible at describing OSTs, but I do recommend that you listen to this. I kind of put this on repeat for a bit, so that's how I knew I was digging this track. I do need to try this game, but I'm really feeling the OST right now, and I'm really feeling Funeral March. And then I have one more, just one more, and that is from Grandia 1. It's called Ling's Love theme. Oh man, you know me, I'm doing R&B music. It's like, I know it's not really R&B, but I love that melody. I love melodies that have like that love thing, for like kind of a relatable sadness where it's like, it's not super sad, but it's kind of like at that middle ground. But Lean's love thing kind of has that like, oh man, I could definitely listen to this while I work, or, you know, if I'm, you know, on a date or if I'm with that special someone, I can just play this in the background and we can just talk in the candlelight, get a little close, smooshy. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my sound test, man. So Funeral March and Lean's love theme. Of course, if you have a sound test as well, you can let me know, and then I can put that in to the show by emailing us at the Chronicles of Gamers podcast at gmail.com. Because I am coming back with these OSTs, man. OSTs. Because I didn't have one for 52 and 51, but I have one for 53. I didn't have one. Actually, I didn't have one for a while, for like episodes 50, 49, 48. But I got it now. And there's a reason why I got it now. If you listen to episode 52, where I was solo again. But going from that, we're going to skip the commercials. And we're going to go straight into true story. This is where it's pretty much where I like to brag about shit, man. True story. No, but it's like where I like to talk about any video game stories that, you know, either were good or bad moments, man. True story. I actually had quite a few things, and like I played Final Fantasy 15. I just recently played that. I'm so bad at that game, man. Like, not so bad, but like I'm so horrible at not consistently playing it. I'm liking the game, but real life kind of takes a hold. I just finished chapter 2 because I've been running around doing side missions, but I was so ready for that game, but that's not my true story. And it's not Kingdom Hearts related either. No, this one's Injustice 2. Been playing some solo action, during the Injustice 2, grand finals, which was on ESPN2. Shout out to that. Shout out to Sonic Fox winning. Red Hood all day. Although I'm not a Red Hood player, I'm a Flash player. But anyways, I was playing Injustice 2, and I've been running into guys in rank sets that have been doing something that I just recently found out. It's called lag switching. So I'm going to go into a little discussion about lag switching before I go into the story. So supposedly lag switching is you do something to your router which slows the connection down. And although it slows it down for yourself, it doesn't affect you as much as the person that's on your connection. So I had this opponent that was lag switching me, because I noticed that he had 80, we was at like 79 to 83 MS when you play online. But whenever I got a hit, it went from like between the 78 to 70, like 78 to like 85, 86 MS. It went to 200 to 300 MS. So it was like, it just made the lag extremely worse. And you can notice at the bottom, I really should have recorded the gameplay, but the guy was playing, Scarecrow, and I'm not too familiar with Scarecrow, but there were things that I was figuring out because he was repeating the same pattern so much that I found gaps, and I realized, I found holes in his gameplay. But anyways, the first game, he played Scarecrow on that one, but I had an earlier match where someone lag switched me, but, he played Scarecrow. First game, I got hit with pretty much almost everything because I didn't know. Second match, I kind of figured out like forward 3 is like hella negative, back 3 is negative. So I realized I could, disrespect that. And then he started doing like a little bit of the grab stuff, but, I started to notice when he was mostly grabbing. So he's mostly grabbing at down 1 and actually he was just mostly grabbing off of down 1, or he's mostly grabbing when if I blocked the jump, I think the hook, it seems like the hook thing was a jump 3 because I remember trying to anti-air it. But anyways, the whole point was when I started to anti-air and I started doing combos, he lag switched me and he pretty much, just made it hard for me to really do my combos. So the second match that we played, after getting blown up the first match, the second match was like really close. I just needed a hit to beat him, But during that time, after I just did like this really, my really damaging combo after he did something stupid, he pretty much was using lag switch, and he did forward 3, which is like a really long hitting move, and he has his chain. So at the time, I was moving forward after ending my combo, but then I saw him wake up because I thought he was going to do a wake up move, but instead he did forward 3. So while I was moving, and I was in the lag switch moment, so it was just like I was moving extremely slow. So when I noticed he started doing the animation of this, I was holding back. But when he got the full animation out, even though I was holding back, I still got hit. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was a little frustrated, but I was like, it's cool. I'm starting to understand this. I'm starting to get this character. And then the final round that we ended up playing, because ranks test is like first to 3, we were playing, and once again, anytime I got a hit, he lag switched, so it made it really hard for me to do like the big damaging combos, so I had to pretty much keep it simple. But it was a really close game again, and at this point, he had his trait out. Now, if you don't know, Scarecrow's trait is his fear gas, and he coats himself in his fear gas. And when you're near him, he does damage to you. So he can kill you with his trait out. So at this point, I got hit with Scarecrow's forward 3 again in lag switch. But after he hit me, it went completely fine. So what I did was I woke up, and actually, I woke up, I threw him into the corner, and then he did his little gas thing. So at this point, I downed to, and then I did like a corner combo into a knockdown. And then he did his gas move one more time, and I blocked it. But at this time, I didn't realize that he still had his trait out, so I'm losing health. So at the time where he knocked me down the first time with his forward 3, I think I had like maybe 10% health. So of course, during that situation, as much as I was staying on him, I was taking damage. So at the second time where he did a reversal, which was like super negative, I did my best corner combo on him. Now, while doing the combo, he was lag switching me. But what was interesting was I gave no fucks, and I still managed to complete my combo. So in the corner, I did flashes like back medium punch, stand medium punch. No, I did down light kick or light punch at this time. Or down 1, down 2, for those that do play the game. So I did down light, down medium, and so quarter circle forward, the lightning kicks, and I meter burned that, and then I did my trait, which slows down everything, and then I did lightning kicks 4 times, back medium into lightning kick, and then the back medium to stand medium to forward hard, because it's back to stand to forward 3 into my lightning punches. Now at this point, I'm losing health as I'm comboing this guy, and because his trait is still out, and even though I'm losing health, he's losing health. So at this point, he was pretty much down. It was pretty much like down to the wire of like who was going to lose their health first. And whoever lost their health first lost. So at this point, I'm literally close to death as I got lightning punches out. So after I did lightning punches, this is where Flash does like really quick punches, and then he stands there like this because he's like da 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 da, because he's watching his attacks, go off. So at this point, Scarecrow is getting hit. He's getting bopped like this, bop 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 bop, but his trait is still out, and I'm still near. I'm still near Scarecrow. So he's getting hit like this. Flash is standing there like this, losing health. And at this point, I needed literally one more hit of Flash Punch. And I had 2 hits in. Like, I think it's an 8-hit move. So at this point, I just needed 1 hit. But I ran out of health. So I died before my hit came out. So literally, as the Scarecrow's getting his ass kicked from lightning punches, I died because of his trait. So I got up, I put my stick down, I got up and I laughed. Because it was just like, oh my gosh. The first time I lost because I didn't understand the character. Second time, I'm starting to understand the character, and I'm starting to understand what shit I can punish and how to really, attack this guy. But I lost the lag switch. And the third time, it's like, I literally lost to this guy's trait, even though I'm being lag switch. True story, man. I literally laughed. I'm like, I wanted to be frustrated, but I was like, I'm impressed that I managed to get the combo out in 300 MS. Like, that shit was laggy. It was laggy as fuck. And I managed to get the full combo out. I was in a pressured situation. I could feel my heartbeat. I was counting to 10. I was literally talking to myself like, you got this. But, I didn't. True story. And that is it. But we're going to skip the commercials one more time because I feel like it. I don't give a fuck. But anyways, you already know what time it is. It's that time of the show where we're going to wrap things up. And after we wrap things up, or before we wrap things up, I like to say goodbye. I'm switching it up for those that don't listen to earlier episodes, but I want to say goodbye. But before I say goodbye and the wrap up and stuff, I want to do a quick thing. It's my special thing. It's the thing I love doing. Now, the Lord Brioche is not here to stop me. She's not here. And that is selfless plugins. Go. So, of course, the Chronicles of Gamers.wordpress.com. Please check that out. I know I don't post as much as I should, but I do post the episodes up there, and I do make sure that everything is updated and great. And it is the one place stopping shop for you to check out our Facebook, The Chronicles Gamers, our VidMe, The Chronicles of Gamers, our iTunes, which I would please, if you guys can, could you guys please, pretty please rate the podcast? Seriously though, I mean, in all honesty, if you can, just please rate the podcast. I work really hard. Gamer Composer checks the audio. Lord Rios checks the audio too. So we work pretty hard too. And they check the video from time to time. We work really hard. We just want people to know. If you really like the episode, just please let people know on iTunes. On VidMe, if you can, please upvote that. Upvote it. Send it higher, man. And let people know that you really are feeling this. On YouTube, give us a thumbs up. We love that as well. Let people know that you love it. On SoundCloud, I don't know, you could like it. But in all honesty, if you guys can, just please rate our stuff. Give it an increase. Like the Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter, which it seems a few of you guys are. I got a few new likes. Yeah. And I actually want to give a quick shout out. Let me make sure I get this. The June and Xavier. I met them at the Dragon Ball Fighter Z event. Damn, that could have been a true story right there. Because I tried the game for over an hour. And I actually got a good play. I played almost every character in that game except for F and Piccolo. That could have been a true story right there, but that Injustice thing was very serious. I'll save the Fighter Z stuff for next week, unless something bigger comes along. Then I'll just talk about it later. But I do want to give a special shout out to June and Xavier at the Microsoft store. They held that event down. That was really fun. It was really entertaining. It was great to talk to them. And Junaid's really doing some amazing stuff with, girls that are trying to get into video games. I recommend you following their Facebook page as well. I have that in the show notes. Follow them if you are in Chicago. And of course, man, you can always email us at the Chronicles Gamers Podcast at gmail.com. Also, follow I Play Games as well, because they held the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite event. That's another thing I could have talked about, but I will save those true stories for next episode or when I talk on stream. Stream is going pretty well. That should be coming up very soon. I'm just getting some final stuff done, and you'll start to see it more often. Anyways, I believe that is it. If you guys can, just please give us an upvote, give us a rating. Listen to earlier podcast episodes. We work extremely hard. You can notice the difference between us going side screen and then the wonderful background that we have now. If you're watching the video. For my SoundCloud people, for my audio people, besides SoundCloud and iTunes and stuff, and Acast and Stitcher, and we're pretty much everywhere. You can just listen to it. But anyways, though, I like to say thank you guys. from the bottom of my heart. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. I am out of here. We are out of here. So I gotta watch the last episode of Rick and Morty. I actually missed that. So I'll be doing that after I do this, and then I'll edit. So I'm out of here. So stay lit.